Hello, all my crafty friends. It is Tuesday again. It is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, and I am so happy to be here with you. I am sorry I missed last Friday's live. I thank you for your understanding. My visit with the homeopathic doctor went well. And now we just have to be patient and see if I can get some pain relief from all of this. I'll keep you posted as we go. I actually had a couple really bad days since I've seen her. Today I woke up feeling great, so hopefully that's a turning point. We will see. I know with things that are natural in your body, it takes time for them to build up and make a change. So help me be patient. Pray for patience for me. But yes, I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. So my name is Maureen Rolfes. Good morning, Doris. Glad you are here. I am also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. I have been an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 28 years, and I love what I do. I'm here to help you find the joy of card making and paper crafting, to give you tips and tricks to make that easier and more fun for you, and then to encourage you to send out all of your beautiful creations to others to make their day. Good morning, Shar. The goal is to eradicate loneliness one card at a time. It is a beautiful sunshiny day here in Middle Tennessee. Blue skies, high of 78, the air is dry, the trees are starting to turn color. It's feeling fallish and I am loving it. Thank you, Doris. I appreciate you sharing so much. If you are hopping on, please say hi to let me know that you're here so I know you stopped by. And if you're watching on the replay, let me know that also, along with any other comments you might have. All the comments entered today through midnight tomorrow will be entered for a chance to win the card that we make today, so that is always fun. Congratulations to the winner of my last card giveaway. It was Cheryl Jackson. Cheryl, that has been sent out to you. You might even have it already. So yay, thank you so much for watching and commenting. Excuse me. Oh, rain in Iowa. Yeah, I see we have rain coming this way. Supposed to be even maybe some severe weather this weekend, but we'll take it a day at a time and see what happens. A reminder that if you can share my video to another crafty group, to a crafty friend, to a crafty page, wherever you'd like to share me, let me know if you do that, and I will give you a bonus entry toward today's card. That gives me a lot of great exposure I would not otherwise get. Okay, let's turn you around. You can see my sunshine, even a little bit of color on the trees. Let's take you down to the table. And I am going to check that I am in the place where I want to be. I think I am with seeing you guys pop on, but then I'm kind of centered. I move things around sometimes, and then I'm afraid they're not going to show where I want them to show. This is me, Maureen Rolfes, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. My blog is crazystampinglady.blogspot.com. My email is crazystampinglady@gmail.com. Excuse me. My Facebook is facebook.com/Crazy Stamping Lady, which is where you probably are right now. My YouTube is under my name, Maureen Rolfes, and I think you can also search on Crazy Stamping Lady, and you can shop with me at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net. And if you shop there, Stampin' Up! Will give you rewards through their reward program. For every online order of at least $20, you'll automatically receive 2% back in rewards on a future purchase. These rewards are redeemable for up to 1 year, although you can use them immediately if you want to. It is up to you how you use your rewards. All right, no cards to share today, so we're going to move right on from that. Just a reminder about my free monthly virtual card classes. Every month, if you purchase a qualifying order from me, you can earn kits. So a $50 order this month will get you 3 free card kits. A $75 order will get you those 3 free card kits plus a bonus project. A $100 order will get you those 3 free card kits, a bonus project, and a half a pack of an embellishment. These just need to be made in one order. So whatever order is your highest order, like if you order $50 once and $100 the next, you will get the kit for your largest order for that month. A reminder that much of my product I use is retired product, but it is still beautiful and new to you. And you can duplicate the projects with whatever you might have on hand. These are shown in my regular Facebook page. So if you scroll back in my videos, you will see on Monday I held the October class for September purchases. So you can check out what I do. Any smaller orders from me that don't meet this requirement will receive a handmade card from me, and all orders are entered into my monthly order prize drawing. My November class for October orders will be held on Monday, November 10th at 11 a.m. So mark your calendar. Whether or not you have a kit, you're welcome to watch that with us. I will mail out the kits to you by early November, and you should have them on time for the class if you've earned them. Okay, I cannot believe there's any of these left, guys, but when I looked this morning, the Advent calendar is still there, and I'm shocked because I know so many people who have ordered it. This is a special new thing this year. It's available only in the online store, and everything in the Advent calendar will not be available beyond that. So it is limited to what is in. If you get these kits, you're the only ones that will get these products. There's 12 different days. The different days include things like a die set, paper, embellishments, and more. And it also comes with a stamp set that coordinates. The products can be used to make some holiday and Christmas type projects because of the colors in some of them, but a lot of it is very neutral, and the stamp set is made to use year long. It is $99 US. It is a great gift idea. So ladies, a hint to your husband that you might want to get this for Christmas, the 12 days of crafting Advent calendar. It is available while supplies last. Like I said, I'm shocked there's any still out there, but they are. If you want spoiler alerts, just go search on Make This Season out on YouTube, or Stampin' Up! Advent Calendar. A ton of demonstrators have opened all the doors already, and they will show you the product if you want to see them. I'm a surprise type gal, so I don't usually look ahead of time, but they are out there if you want to see them. Okay, moving right along. Our best starter kit offer ever. Actually, this is probably the best kit of any kind that Stampin' Up! Has offered. And so I want to encourage each of you to think about the possibility of purchasing the starter kit, becoming a demonstrator, enjoying all the perks that come with it, like 20 to 25% discounts on your product, exclusive early access to the latest releases and catalogs, the opportunity to earn a modest supplemental income if you choose to do so, the chance to attend incredible training and craft events, and so much more. 2 kit options this time. You can get our regular $99 kit. So normally our kit is $99 for $125 worth of any products you choose out of the catalogs or online that you want. Right now, you can get that $125 worth of products for $35. It is a crazy stinking good deal. And if that's not enough for you, if you want more, you can also decide, or instead of that one, you can decide to get $189 worth of products for $99, our normal price. So 2 great deals, 2 choices. You pick the products you get. There is tax on them, but there is no shipping. You'll become a crazy stamping lady if you sign up through me. And then for the next, let's see, October, November, December, January, February, March, you will remain a crazy stamping lady, whether or not you continue to buy or purchase anything. So it is a win-win. There is no penalty. If you don't meet the requirements, you will just drop off after March. I encourage everyone to think about trying this. It is a great, great deal, and I couldn't in good conscience not tell you about it. You can sign up with me at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net. Just click the Join Now button and you can shop to your heart's desire for what you want for the kit that you want. I hope you'll join. If you have any questions, just contact me. You can email me at crazystampinglady@gmail.com and I promise I will get back to you. Okay, guys, today we are using one of my favorite bundles. Again, you've seen me use it before. I cannot get enough of this. Painterly Pears. I love this bundle so much. I have used this bundle so much. It is stinking crazy. I love the little sentiments. Congratulations, hello, thank you, friend. And a good friend is a gift, which is probably my favorite one in here. It has all the beautiful pears and the insides of the pears. It coordinates with these gorgeous dies that cut out these images, as well as some extra leaves if you want them, some extra flowers, this little kind of grid board, and a couple things to cut out sentiments. It is a great, great bundle. So we're going to play with this today. We're also going to be using a couple dies out of the Nested Essentials. You can see they're missing because we're going to be using them. So that is a great set also, just if you want to have your regular little sentiments cut out in some fun way. That is a fantastic set. Okay, guys, let's see where I want to go with all of this. I'm going to just take out our kit, trying to keep my pieces kind of in order, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. So we have, for this kit, a basic white envelope. Now I'm going to be making a fun bay window fold card with this. So we're using, for our designer series paper, this gorgeous Painterly Pears DSP. Every sheet in here is more beautiful than the next. We have the beige background, the white background, the blue background, the duckling background, the beautiful petal pink background. All of these are gorgeous, and I am getting down to the nitty gritty, guys. Every color, every sheet's been used. I think I have one full sheet of this kind of scrapbook page back there, and that is it. Love it, love it, love it. All of these products are online exclusives that I've shown you, so you need to go out to the Stampin' Up website to see them. So you can go to stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net and hit shop now, and you'll be able to see all of our products. Okay, so for this card, I'm going to try to do this gently and not mess anything up. We are using an old olive base. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches across. I scored it on the long side, okay? Let me make sure I got this right because I don't want to tell you wrong. Yep, I did. Okay, I scored it on the long side starting over here at 3/8 inches. And I will post all these measurements in the comments after this video is over. 1 7/8 inches, 3 5/8 inches, 5 1/8 inch, and 5 1/2, okay? So the 5 1/2 is the one that would be our normal center fold for a card base of this type. And I'm just gonna come in here with my bone folder and crease that down really well. And then we're going to do all the other folds on here. So I'm just going to fold this one. Actually, I'm going to come back the other way. It seems like your creases are nicer when you fold against the little bump, okay? It might seem a little counterintuitive, but for me, it works better. So I'm going to come in there, and every time I fold this over, I'm just making sure that it's nice and straight and even, because with all those folds, they can get kind of cockeyed, and you don't want that. So we're going to go here and here. And then this last little one, I'm going to kind of fold with my fingers a little bit just to get it started. And here. Okay. So all of these folds that we just did here are actually the front of the card. So this is how that is going to lay after they're all creased and folded. And then we're going to add pieces to this. So this is what is forming our bay window. You can kind of see it, I think, from the top. If any of you know bay windows, we used to have a couple, have them in a couple of our houses. They just come out and around, and they'll usually have like a little shelf or seat in the middle for a little reading nook if you want it. So this is the bay window fold. And we're going to add designer series paper to this. And I kept these in order because when I cut this batch of them, if I can get them up here, sorry for my arms being in your way. When I cut this batch of them, I tried to keep them in order. So as we put this together, our pattern forms a picture, okay? Now, I'm gonna show you at the end, if you stick with me, one that I made just random and didn't worry about keeping them together. And honestly, at least for this paper, because it's very busy, it worked just fine. But if you're a stickler for that, here is our first strip. So it's 1/4 inch. And then 1 1/4 inches. And hopefully you can see how these line up. And then 1 1/2 inches. Another 1 1/4 inch. And another 1/4 inch. So that's our bay window pieces. And then the last little strip over here is 1/2 inch. And this is going to go on the inside and help us make a little stand for our bay window to stand up. So what you're starting out with before you start cutting is a piece that is 4 inches tall by 5 inches wide. You're cutting along this long side at 1/4, and then the next piece 1 1/4, the next piece 1 1/2, the next piece 1 1/4, the next piece 1/4, and then your last piece will end up being 1/2 inch. So hopefully that all makes sense. So I don't mess these up and get them out of order. We're going to add them to our card right now and be done with that part. So I'm going to grab my first little 1/4 strip. And for the little 1/4 strips, I'm going to use Tombow on the back of them because they're so narrow that seal would be way too wide for them. So I'm just going to take some Tombow liquid glue, place it down the back of there, make sure it's spread out enough that it's not going to ooze out anywhere. I'm going to grab my little tweezers because when I work with tiny pieces like this, my tweezers really help. So let me see if I can get it in from this side because I want to be sure. Am I going the right way? Yes. Okay, so we're going to place this right in the middle of that very first little panel. And the Tombow gives you a little wiggle room on here, so that part is nice. So that's our first 1/4 inch piece. Then we have 1 1/4, and this one is plenty wide that I can use my seal on it. So I'm going to use seal because seal is my favorite. For those of you who watched the free class yesterday, I finally got all of my adhesives back in my classroom, guys. So I had to make do with what I had on my desk, and all of my main adhesives were still out in the other room from my Saturday class because I hadn't been feeling great. So now they're all in here. Now we're going to take our 1 1/2 inch piece for the middle. And as you're putting these on, of course, you want to be sure that you're keeping the patterns the right direction, especially if you went through all the trouble to make sure they were in order. Be sure that you're keeping them the right direction. So you can see how that's just fitting together, the same little image. Now we have another 1 1/4 piece. And I'm going to place that here. Trying to center these on the panel sections and trying to keep them so they're a pretty straight line along the bottom. I know if they're a straight line along the bottom, they're going to be a pretty straight line along the top. So that's the easiest way for me to do that. We're going to take this other little 1/4 inch piece, add some Tombow to the back of that, if I can get this going. When I let it sit open like that, sometimes it's hard to get it going again. There we go. That went fine. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to grab my tweezers and let that help me to place this on this little bitty panel here. So I can place it on the bottom pretty even. The Tombow on those little one gives me that wiggle room. There we go. So there are all of our panels, and you can see how that is just a continuous sheet. Now, like I said, at the end, I'll show you my prototype where I didn't worry about keeping them in order. In fact, some of the pieces were scraps that I had left. I think it turned out beautifully, but I do like the look of the continuous panel too. Then we're going to take this last piece here, this little 1/2-inch piece, and I am going to add it to a piece of old olive. This old olive piece is, let me remember how big I made this. I have to look at my notes, guys, because sometimes my brain goes ooky. Is 3/4 by 4 1/4, and this was 1/2 by 4. So that's going to go right onto there. And I'm going to try to keep about that same space on the bottom that I did on all my front panels, because this will pretty much line up with those panels once the card is together. Okay, we also have a piece of basic white for the inside. So this piece of basic white is 4 inches tall by 4 1/4 wide. So this is going to go right in here onto our panel, and then this piece is going to go right here along the edge. And the reason that I placed it on another piece of old olive rather than right on this is this is going to become a bit of a place where they can tuck in the bay fold window and make it stand up. And so you'll see as we put this together what I'm talking about. Because I want to tuck things in here, I'm going to use tear and tape on here just to make sure it's really sturdy onto my card. And I'm going to put the tear and tape behind the right side of this panel. So I'm going to flip it over. It's going to go right along here on the back. Tear and tape is super sticky. It's great for cards that you're doing any kind of movement on that's going to be a repetitive movement, so that it doesn't come apart on you. Hang on, guys. I just lost one of my little pins here from my Tombow. I got to stick it back in its holder. Got lots of stuff going on here on my desk all the time. Okay, so I'm just going to burnish this. That'll help me pick up that end so the backing comes off easier. Run my little tip of my snips along there, and it should loosen right up, which it did. And then I can peel that off. So again, that tear and tape here is on the right hand side of this panel on the back. Okay, we're going to take this, and I'm actually going to line it up basically with the edge of this card. Okay, it should fit there top to bottom pretty even, just like that. And now I can show you this right away. Now this gives me a little lip there that I can place the edge of my, if I can get this folded right, I'm going to fold this up a little bit this way so it has that crease to it. A little, so I can place that under there, and it'll help my bay window card stand up. Now, if you send this to someone, they're probably not going to know that unless you put a little note in there. I wouldn't worry about it. It's still going to be a beautiful bay window card. They're going to see that fold. But when you tuck it in there, it stands up just beautifully. And I love that. What a fun look. Okay, so this is our bay window card. That's the inside. We're going to take our other inside piece, and I'm just going to add a few little splatters to the corner of this so it kind of matches the colors on our card. I'm going to take Darling Duckling, and in this stamp set is a little splatter stamp. I love splatter stamps. I use them for so many things. We're not going to have a sentiment on the inside of here, so I'm just going to put 2 Darling Duckling splatters. And then I'm going to use my chamois to wash that off. And then I'm going to add a couple Petal Pink splatters, because these are colors that's in that designer series paper. So I'm just kind of pulling those colors from the outside of my card. Let's see if I turn that around this way. Into the inside of the card. You can place as few or as many as you like, but now it just has a little bit of character And I still have all of that writing space to write my sentiment, and I got to use my fun splatter. Okay, let's put some seal on the back of here. What do you guys have planned for the rest of this week? Anyone else traveling like us? We haven't, I don't even think I mentioned that, but we are going to West Virginia to go see my daughter Jenny and her family. And we haven't seen her in quite a while, so I'm excited about going. Okay, so there's the inside of this card. Again, that little flap is going to tuck under, and we'll play with that more when this is all together and I can show you that. Okay, on this piece here, this is just a scrap of lemon lime twist, and I am going to cut out one of the rounded corner rectangles from the Nested Essential dies, okay? And I could have used Old Olive, but I decided to go with Lemon Lime Twist because there are variants of this color in the paper also, and it gives it a little bit of brightness on that sentiment. So we are going to do that. So I have the larger of the two I'm using of the rounded corner rectangles, and we're cutting out a piece of Lemon Lime Twist for the card. And then I have another scrap of basic white, and we're going to cut out one of the smaller little rectangles to layer on there. So this will be for our sentiment. Okay. Just like that. Let's set that aside for now. And then we're going to stamp our pears because we're using pears, so we obviously need to have some pears, right? So I have a scrap paper here too because we're going to cut this out. Let me make sure it's big enough. It is plenty big. I'm going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black ink and ink this up. And then we are going to stamp it onto that scrap of basic white. Okay. Now I am going to use some blends on here, and whenever you're using blends, you want this Memento ink to dry for just a few minutes. So while that is starting to dry, I am going to work on this piece, and I'm going to grab this smaller white sentiment piece, and we're going to stamp the sentiment that says a good friend is a gift, using Mossy Meadow, which is just another green tone from the Designer Series paper. I'm going to ink it up well. And I'm going to put this up toward this right-hand corner, just like that, okay? Because I want my pears to be able to go on here underneath it. And I like the deepness of the Mossy Meadow. I like that for sentiments. It's dark, but it's not black, but it really shows up well. Actually, let's just put that onto our envelope right away too and be done with that. How fun would it be to receive a card that says, a good friend is a gift, and somebody knows just how much they mean to you. Okay, so there is that done. Set that aside. Now we can take this piece here and put some seal on the back of it. And this is just going to get centered onto that other layer of lemon lime twist, just like that. And this is going to go on the front of our card. Now it's going to go on this very front panel only, right here, the wider one, the 1.5 inch. And you can look at your design and decide if you want it at the top because you like this better, or toward the bottom because you like this better, or right in the middle. You move it depending on your DSP. I do that all the time. I think I'm going to put it, actually I don't like that it's not super straight, so hang on a second. A little warm breath from your mouth, and your bone folder will usually release that seal enough that you can replace it. I just thought it was a little bit crooked on the front of there, so I'm trying to straighten it out. Watch, I'll end up being more crooked than before, which could happen. That does happen in my life, trust me. Okay, I think that's pretty straight. Let's give it a good firm press. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, it could be that my sentiment's a little crooked, but we're going to go with that. So this is going to go on the front panel. I only want to adhere it to this middle section. And I think I'm going to put it right about here in the middle because I like the way I can see the pear up here. And down at the bottom, it feels a little bottom heavy to me. Plus, I'm going to have my pears on here yet. So I think I'm going to put it just about right in the middle on this one. And I'm going to take my seal and go right down the middle, top to bottom on here. Now, when this is laying on here, it is wider than that panel. So I am just going to come in with one more strip of seal right next to it, like that, and one more right next to it on this side. And those 3 strips of seal should be plenty to adhere this to your card. And now my ends are open with no adhesive on, so I don't have to worry about that sticking anywhere it shouldn't. Come in here and center this onto the card. Trying to get it as straight as I can. My old age, I think my head must be crooked because things are getting more crooked as I go. Okay, so there's that. And now you can see when this pops up and you do tuck it in and it stands out, that just becomes the focal point on the front of your little bay window. Okay, that is that. Now let's color our pear. So to color this stamp set actually offers you not only the outlines of your images, but the inside to color a lot of the parts of your image. And not all of them. It doesn't have the insides for these leaves or stem, and we're going to use blends on those. But for the pear itself, I am going to use this. So we're going to ink this up with Darling Duckling for my little yellow pears. And I'm going to try to get my head in here. Excuse it if it's in screen. I want to make sure I'm pretty much over these pears as I lay that down, because you can see how perfectly they fit on there. It is a distinctive stamp set, so it offers you that gradient of color from light to dark, which I love on something like this. And then I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to do a little coloring on here. So I'm going to start out with my crumb cake blend. I don't know which one I have, the dark one. Doesn't really matter when I'm only doing one. And I'm going to come in here and we're just going to color using that nib end, which is so tiny that you can easily just color these little twigs on here. Just have a very light touch. With blends, a light touch serves you much better than a heavy hand. Because they are alcohol markers, make sure that you put the lids back on them immediately so they don't dry out. And then we're going to use dark lemon lime twist for my leaves. So I'm just going to come in here and color my leaves, and I'm using the nib end. You could use the brush end, whatever works for you. When I use the nib end a lot because my brush end gets worn out from coloring ribbon and coloring gems. But I prefer it a lot of times too, especially on tinier images, because it gives you more control. But you have to find the coloring techniques that work for you, and you just do that by playing. Stamp a bunch of things and just play with them, color them and have fun. I was telling someone at my class Saturday that I color every single day, and I think it is true. It is a rare day that I'm not coloring something. And then I'm going to add Old Olive. So instead of my light and dark lemon lime twist, I decided to add Old Olive to this and tone those leaves down just a little bit, not a lot. I still want some brightness there, but I'm going to take my olive, and on the lower part of these leaves, as if they're kind of curved and the sun is hitting just the top part, on the lower part of these leaves, I am going to add Old Olive, okay? And then, because they are blends, I'm going to come back in one more time, and right along the line where the two colors come together, just add a little more of the lemon lime twist. And what that'll do is, as this gradually dries now, you will see it'll blend those colors together seamlessly. And that's a great way to get some shadowing onto your images. Look how cute they look. But because I love pears when they have a little bit of pink on them, To me, that's when they look ripe to me. I'm going to grab my Petal Pink ink. Petal Pink ink. Huh, that rhymes. And a Q-tip. A handy dandy little Q-tip. And we're going to pick up just a little bit of that pink, and I'm going to brush off in case I have any gobs. And we're going to come in here, and I'm just going to add some pink to my pears. Look how cute that looks. So simple, guys. You don't have to color with just normal coloring tools. Grab other things you might have handy, daubers and Q-tips and cotton balls, and you can add a little bit of color to your images. Look how much more appealing those pears look now. I'm ready to pick them and eat them up. Okay, let's cut this out. Grabbing my cut and emboss machine, my dandy little plates. I gotta grab the outline for these pears. And then because it is an outline and I want to be sure this cuts out straight and doesn't mess up, excuse me, I'm going to grab a piece of well-used and well-loved washi tape. It's not extremely sticky anymore because I have put it onto my clothing to get the fuzzies, because I don't want it to tear my paper, but it is still got enough sticky, it'll help hold this in place. So I'm making sure that the washi is on the cardstock, on the die, on the cardstock again. So that'll hold it in place. Come in here and place my other little cutting mat. Cut this through. And let's pull this right out of there. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? I love them so much. These pears make me happy every time I use them. I just cannot get enough of them. Okay, so we're going to take this beautiful little pear image and I'm going to place it onto the front of this, kind of framing my sentiment, okay? So all I want to do for this is put some glue up on this top section where the leaves are and down onto the pears just a little bit. And that I just know that by laying it there. So I lay it there first to see where I want my glue to go. I'm going to use Tombow because that's going to give me that wiggle room again on here. But I'm not going to come down onto my pears because I don't want it coming down off of that sentiment piece. Any glue, I don't want it sticking anywhere. We're going to come right here and I'm going to lay that right next to the A and right below the G. Give it a firm pressure so that Tombow can take. And there's our little pearls framing our sentiment. And then we have to add some bling. My favorite bling to use with these are the low profile dots because they are in that petal pink color. I think I have some scraps in here, so I'm going to see they will work. We also have this beautiful gold, and that would be gorgeous too. But I am picking up on the petal pink on here, especially since I added that to my little pears. So we're going to use some of these. Now the low profile dots come in two sizes, kind of a large and a medium. They're not real small. And we are just going to use 2 larges and 1 medium, I think. So let's start with our large ones. This is how I did it on my prototype, and I like how it looked. So I'm going to put one right there and another large one down here. And then one of the smaller ones down here, kind of forming my triangle just like that. And then filling in some of that excess space that is on there. So let's move this all to the side. This is our card from today. Again, this is a bay window fold. So it folds flat, it goes into your card flat. It opens up, you can write your sentiment, you can write whatever you want to who you're sending it, and then it will stand up. So I'm just gonna tuck that little end in there, and now you can see when it stands up on your table, this is how it's going to look from the top. It's going to come out and have that bay window look from the front. It is a fun and easy fold, guys. It was fun to play with. I had a lot of fun making this card. I hope you like it too. So hang on, I'm going to show you my prototype and a little bit different. It wasn't a lot, but I learned from it a little bit. So here is my prototype. On this one, I used the old olive ink, but I thought that the mossy meadow really made it pop more, so I changed to that. Everything else is basically the same. My little piece fits in there. The inside is the same. But on this one, I didn't worry about my pattern. I just cut strips. So I am not sure that it's worth worrying about on this print anyway. To me, they're both beautiful. I don't think you noticed that this wasn't a continuous pattern. It's probably because there's enough of a gap between the pieces, possibly. I'm not sure. But of course, when you're making yours, you make it how you want. Sometimes less stress is good for me though. So if I don't have to worry about keeping it in order, I just might not. Okay guys, I hope you liked this card. Again, I said it was lots of fun for me to make. I will post the recipe for this and the picture in the comments of this video. I want to thank you for being with me today. I hope that it was worth your time and that you picked up some tips and tricks. Don't forget to leave your comments. Each comment counts as an entry to win this card. I would love to have your business if you're looking for Stampin' Up! Products, or if you just have any creative questions for me, let me know. You can contact me at crazystampinglady@gmail.com. On another note, I will not be here again this Friday. We are traveling to West Virginia, like I said, to see my daughter Jenny and her family. It's been a while since we've seen them, so I'm really looking forward to this trip. And I just have to have this time off with family. So I appreciate you all and all of your understanding. I will be doing my private class on Thursday for anyone who signed up for that. You might see me pop on with something. You never know if I get in the mood, but probably you will not see me again with a live until next Tuesday, but I plan to be here then. Until then, until I see you again, stay crafty, everybody. Bye-bye.